Can I extend the probationary period if the employee is not performing? So just beforehand, how long is the probationary period?
That would either be 6 months or 12 months, and we don't really call it a probation period anymore.
But now the qualifying period.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. 6 months if you've got 15 or more staff.
15 or, yep.
Yeah. Less than 15 is 12 months. Can you have qualifying periods for casual employees?
No point, because casual employee does not have a regular engagement for ongoing work. If you put in a qualifying period into a casual employment contract, you're actually essentially giving them an indication that they're potentially going to be there for 6 months or more. So we recommend no.
It does breaks the casual relationship nature. So anyway, can you extend it?
I'm going to give you two scenarios.
Yeah.
And I still see this, and I'm still surprised every time I do. I see contracts of employment coming in with a 3-month probation period. And I often get the question, can I extend this? And technically, yes, you can, because the employee hasn't served the qualifying period yet.
Mm-hmm.
So you could potentially extend 3 months up to 6 or 12, depending on if you're a small business or a large business. However, you've got to think about the end user, so the employee. So if you try to extend this, or you just keep going and you get to month number 5 and you're saying to that employee, oh, no, you're still within your qualifying period, so we're dismissing you on probation, and their contract says 3 months, the end user is not going to understand. And usually the end user is going to get really upset and probably react in a combative way. So if that is your situation, you have 3 months in your contracts of employment, number 1, change that. Just refer to 6 or 12. If you want to extend that, you need to have a really thorough conversation with that particular employee to say, look, whilst your contract of employment says 3 months, the legislation still gives us the capacity to keep assessing your employment. So this is what we want to do.
Yeah.
If you have got the qualifying period of 6 months or 12 months in your contracts of employment and you're just sitting on the fence,
or you just have not pulled finger and done anything about it before the qualifying period is about to finish, and you're like, oh my gosh, they actually about to finish in a day's time. It happened yesterday.
If you're leaving it till the day before, I'd suggest that you're already up to creek without paddles. If you've got to the end of your probation period and your employee essentially doesn't really know that there's an issue, then you probably haven't executed your processes correctly in providing feedback to that employee during their first months of employment. You should never go into at 5 months, 3 weeks, 4 days and say, oh, hey, guess what? By the way, we're not passing you through your probation period if you've never had a conversation with that.
I guess you can, but there's risk involved.
Oh,
any termination is a risk. If your termination is still within the qualifying period, it is lower than if it's after the end of the qualifying period.
The general protections.
But if you haven't said anything beforehand, you are making the situation worse. However, when we come back to the question, can you extend the qualifying period? You can't. The only scenario that I would say that this is applicable for, and I have seen it happen, is when someone has had to take extended leave out of over their qualifying period. So say they broke their leg, they're out for 4 months. So they've really only done 2 weeks worth of work. I think that you could legitimately then say, hey, you had to take this period of time off, now we need to extend it out. And I think that's okay, but otherwise 6 or 12 months are pretty hard.
Absolutely.
Don't do it. But don't think, oh my God, I'm stuck with them now. All it means is we just change process. So we actually go into a performance management process instead of just using the qualifying period. And there's a little bit more rigor in regards to how you do that and putting them on a bit of a performance management plan. But yeah, if we're still looking at needing to exit the staff member out of the organisation, we just use a different process. We don't use the qualifying period process.
And look, my recommendation is if you've got to the end of your qualifying period and you're really not sure, but you want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I would seriously engage in a performance improvement plan process.
Yeah.
So you start documenting what your concerns are, what your idea of success is, what you want the employee to be achieving. And you're very open in your communication, like we're not going to end your employment during the qualifying period. However, we've got some ongoing concerns, so that you might have an 8-week PIP plan or a 12-week PIP plan. You're going to have an outcome at the end of that, rather than just letting it go into limbo.